Neo-Colonialism, the hidden hand. The flags were raised, the anthems sung, the colonizers went home, or so it seemed. From Accra to Jakarta, from Nairobi to Port-au-Prince, the mid-20th century was a season of liberation. Old empires crumbled, borders redrew themselves. Leaders promised a new dawn of self-determination. But while the armies retreated and the governors packed their bags, the power did not leave. It simply changed its form, shedding uniforms for suits, warships for cargo vessels, bayonets for balance sheets. This is the story of neo-colonialism, the hidden hand-shaping nations long after independence. And if you believe history's most powerful forces are only in the past, you might be about to see them in a very different light. The term neo-colonialism was popularized by Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president, in 1965. Traditional colonialism was crude. Foreign flags flying over foreign lands, armies stationed in the streets, local populations ruled directly by outsiders. Neo-colonialism is more subtle. It is control without conquest, influence without invasion. The puppet strings are economic, political, and cultural. So thin you might not see them, yet strong enough to shape the destiny of entire nations. Nkrumah called it the last stage of imperialism, a stage where former masters need no fortresses because the fortress now exists inside the nation's economy itself. After World War II, the age of empires entered its twilight. Across Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean, colonial flags were lowered. But independence came during the Cold War, when the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in global rivalry. Every newly independent nation became a prize in a grand chess match. Economic aid, military assistance, and political pressure were offered, but always with strings attached. In Congo, Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba dreamed of a united, independent Africa. Within months of independence in 1960, he was deposed in a coup supported by foreign powers, his vision a threat to mining companies that had long profited from Congolese copper and cobalt. Such stories would repeat again and again. Leaders who resisted foreign influence faced isolation, coups, or worse. In the old colonial order, raw materials flowed one way, out. Gold, oil, coffee, rubber, extracted, shipped, refined, and sold elsewhere. Independence did not change this flow. Many former colonies were locked into economies designed for export, not self-sufficiency. They sold cocoa, tea, or minerals to richer nations, and bought back finished goods at higher prices. When budgets fell short, nations turned to the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. The loans came with conditions: privatize industries, cut subsidies, open markets to foreign competition. These so-called structural adjustment programs were presented as medicine, but often acted like poison. Public schools closed, hospitals lost funding, food prices soared, and yet foreign investors gained greater access to resources and markets. In Ghana, cocoa farmers still earn only a fraction of the profit from chocolate sales. In Nigeria, billions in oil revenue flow outward each year, leaving nearby communities without clean water or stable power. Neo-colonialism is not just economic, it is political. Foreign governments have long backed leaders who align with their interests, sometimes helping to remove those who don't. Aid may depend on how a country votes at the United Nations, or on whether it signs military cooperation agreements. In Francophone Africa, France maintained an elaborate network of influence, often called Francafrique, involving defense pacts, currency control through the CFA franc, and military bases. These ties were defended as partnerships, but critics argued they kept African nations dependent, unable to chart their own course. Cultural dominance is the quietest weapon of all. In many former colonies, the education system still follows the old colonial curriculum, prioritizing European history, literature, and languages. While this can open doors to global communication, it can also sideline indigenous knowledge and languages. Media is another tool. News outlets, entertainment, and social media platforms often originate from and promote the values of powerful nations. Language, fashion, food, even definitions of success become shaped by outside models. The result is a form of psychological dependency, the belief that progress looks like imitation. Neo-colonialism wears many faces. In France's relationship with its former African colonies, critics see a shadow empire. The CFA franc, used by 14 countries, is pegged to the euro and guaranteed by the French treasury. Supporters say it ensures stability. Critics argue it locks economies into dependency. In the 1980s, debt crises swept Latin America. The IMF stepped in with loans tied to structural adjustment programs. In Bolivia and Argentina, state industries were privatized, tariffs cut, and social spending reduced. Inequality deepened, even as foreign investors gained easier access. Today, a new player has entered the arena: China. Through massive infrastructure loans, Beijing has financed roads, ports, and railways across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. Critics warn of debt traps. Supporters call it partnership. Which it is may depend on the future. The results of neo-colonialism are visible everywhere. Economies grow, yet fail to lift the majority out of poverty. Skilled citizens leave for opportunities abroad, draining talent from the homeland. Political instability is fueled by foreign interference. Cultural erosion continues as globalized values replace local traditions. The chains are invisible, but their weight is felt in every underfunded school, every shuttered factory, every resource extracted without fair return. But the story is not only one of control, it is also one of resistance. In the 1960s, the non-aligned movement sought to escape Cold War influence, promoting cooperation among developing nations. Today, regional blocs like the African Union and Latin America's CELAC push for collective bargaining power. Some countries, like Botswana, have negotiated fairer terms for resource extraction, keeping diamond revenues within national borders. Others invest in local industries to break the cycle of raw export dependency. Cultural revival movements are reclaiming languages, traditions, and histories long overshadowed by foreign narratives. Neo-colonialism is not as visible as the empires of old. There are no soldiers in the streets, no governors in palaces. Yet its reach is vast, and its grip firm. It is the trade deal that dictates your economy, the loan agreement that shapes your budget, the TV screen that tells you what to value. The chains may be invisible, but they are just as strong. So what do you think? Who truly holds the key to independence? And what will it take to unlock it? If this made you see the world a little differently, share it. If you have something to add, leave it in the comments. Your voice matters in this conversation. And if you want more stories that dig deeper than the headlines, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Because the more we understand the hidden hand, the better prepared we are to break its grip.